Hello, everyone. Alright, so first and foremost, we gotta talk about that ending where, yeah, Drakken Joe is back, but unlike in the world we know where it was Kurenai that fell into deep debt with Joe and was forced to work with him and was forced to pay off her debts doing God knows what, this time around, in a delightful, cruel twist, it's Homura who is in deep debt with Joe, and in that same scenario that with Kurenai, she's now forced to do whatever his heart desires. Which, yeah, with this scenario, how much you want to bet Kurenai's are they already dead, but also dead or dying, I don't know. But but also the other differences we see as well in this chapter is that in this world in Universe Zero, the Gilstark and Belial Gore arcs have kind of merged in a manner of speaking, as Gilst is Drakken Joe's base of operations in this time around. So with the premise now all set up, it goes without saying that the thing I'm most curious about right now is seeing how Mashima navigates things. He kind of navigates the story structure of this part of the arc now, because in one scenario the crew in one of the scenarios where they were up against Drakken Joe, they dove in head first without a care in the world, not realizing what they were getting into, and they basically lost everything, including Shiki losing his goddamn life. In another, they did a lot more subterfuge and did ultimately win, but I think we can also say it was just by a hair's breadth that they even managed to defeat Joe. So I think knowing this, where my expectations lie with revisiting this encounter is obviously I would really like to see them come up with the most coherent plan that they can think of that accounts for near, if not all eventuality. Like, I know there are some things they're not going to be able to like stop when it comes to Drakken Joe. The guy's a master strategist. Let's kind of get that right. But I would just like for them to come up with the most coherent plan they can in order to account for as many eventualities with Drakken Joe as they can. That's and just see how they utilize how they implement all that. And just kind of seeing and utilizing just what worked and what didn't from the previous encounters with Drakken Joe to save Homura. That's kind of where I'm at with this. And in doing so, one other thing I'm also hoping we see is how the characters utilize what's different about them specifically this time around. For example, it hasn't been shown whether or not how much of it carried over after he regained his memories, but if Shiki is more mechanically savvy in this world now, I would really like to see him utilize those skills within whatever capacity that and whatever strategy that the crew comes up with to take on Drakken Joe this time around. I don't for me, my expectations don't just give Shiki the role of the guy who fights the big bad this time around. Give him some kind of like major important role that's going to actually that's going to help actually navigate through the encounter this time, I guess you could say. With all that said, two major pieces of info to tackle, which is first, we get dropped a pretty big bombshell that Pino knows the secret behind Eden's One. But in typical fashion, it's left on cliffhanger, with her saying she doesn't want to reveal anything until the entire crew is reunited, which, understandable I suppose, but still, fuck you for leaving me blue-balled with that, Mashima. Seriously. Fuck you. But, okay, the major theoretical deduction, i.e. confirmation we get in this chapter is, yeah, any and all who've died or weren't with the crew when they got transported to Universe Zero either remain dead, don't exist, or just aren't going to have their memory, or just their memories aren't going to be permanent. Their memories are what their memories are permanent. There's no going to be like their memories are permanently restarted from zero, that they can't be regained, so to speak, without a there's no chance of memories returning, which also more or less confirms no return of Valkyrie in this chapter. Although I'm curious if it's a case of her dying in this world or if she just doesn't exist. I'm assuming it's the former, but in which case I do like how Mashima is still keeping the stakes relevant. Like, even though it's a restart, there are key things that still never change. And I like how with this chapter, we're seeing a small display of what that realignment of events Rachel, aka Nox, was talking about. Was talked about, and it looks like because Mashima because Homura, when you see Homura right now, she looks completely dead inside when we see her. So she must have gone through some major shit in this version of Homura must have gone through some major shit in her life, and I think it's gonna take more than a friendship speech to really bring her out of it, unfortunately. On that note, though, we get a very nice. Yeah, aside from that, we also get a very nice scene between Shiki and Weiss with Rebecca secretly observing. That also gives us a flashback before he left of Weiss's mother giving him her pendant. And two things first. I'll be interested to see if he can save her from dying this time around by stopping Drakken Joe, because if he can, that would be the ultimate form of redemption and really just give Weiss the happy ending he deserves to experience, just with the happiness of knowing his mother is going to live, even if it's just in this world. The second thing, though, is how weirdly surreal it feels to see Sabir being so buddy-buddy with Weiss and his mom. I mean, it's not impossible to believe, given what we saw of the older Sabir and his recollections of the professor, and how he reminisced about their days together, but as friends, but it's still just so weird, and I'm about to make it even weirder, because I'm not even lying to you guys, when I saw the raw scans for this chapter, I thought the implication was that they were dating. And don't get me wrong, there's still a bit of an undertone there to make me wonder, but I'm glad it's one of those times where I'm glad it turned out to be a bit of a friendly ribbing on Sabir's part, because yeah, to me, I don't know, to me that would have seemed a bit ewy. Like, I don't know, something about Sabir being Weiss's stepdad, nah, not my thing. In all seriousness, though, Mashima spent I like how Mashima spent just enough time focusing on that pendant for me to question, where are you planning, what are you planning with that thing, Mashima? Like, maybe I'm overthinking it, but anytime he draws attention to something in the world, usually there's a reason for it. So that's me questioning what's the deal here. But as a whole, like, this chapter, again, gave me the kind of bonding, reconnecting experience I'm hoping we get addressed soon between Shiki and Witch, because at this point I have to assume he's purposefully keeping any conversation between those two separate. Any kind of interactions, at least until he feels the time is right. But it was just great to just see like our main trio kind of just have this moment to reconnect. Like, it's a lot of this chapter had a lot of that cheesy friendship, a lot of that cheesy like friendship schlock that Mashima is known for. But here, I think he really found one thing I've always appreciated about with Eden Zero is that I think he's found the balance to really make that cheesy friendship stuff work. And here it definitely works. At least in my opinion, it does. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much all I got for this review. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe. I'm on Twitter, @Crunchyroll. Be sure to notification bell, subscribe button, and just share the video around, guys. Dark Knight, everyone, signing off. Later, everyone.